Watch out, Cupid stuck me with a sickness. Pull your little arrows out and let me live my life.
Welcome back to the P.I Show. Before the break we were discussing a court case that ran in Victoria about damages and how the judge approached this case. Case of Patricia Norris, who was robbed at a service station. The robbery was in December 99. The trial for this matter was in June 2009. She was 50 at the date of the assault and robbery, and she was 60 at the date of trial.
It's a long time to get to court.
Long time to get to court. Well, you know, these things do take time. Then the judge had to assess whether she could work from the date of the robbery until the date of trial. So that what's happened is her financial loss, in effect, in my view, has crystallised, has actually been realised.
Well, there's not much guesswork in it, Harry. If she's not working, she's not working. And then you've got to go. The defendant's got to go backwards and say she should have been working. It makes it pretty hard.
Yeah, I think the judge, going back to that simple issue of damages, the judge said that this lady's post-traumatic stress disorder, which we can understand how that occurred, and anxiety and depression had a severe and major impact on her personal life and her work capacity. So here we have the medical evidence, which we talked about before the break, comes to a conclusion that this lady has a severe condition that's affected her not only in her personal but also her work life. So the damages flow from that. The damages are, as Tony said, some past economic loss,
which was quite significant,
and future economic loss.
Yeah,
those two figures I think added up to, in the judge's
400,000.
Yeah, 400,000. The past was 274,000.
Okay,
and the future was 136,000.
Plus, I think in the evidence, Harry, they also showed some video which the judge didn't affect his opinion of her. They showed videos and DVD films.
I think the judge said,
and he accepted her as a person.
I think she was in the witness box for 3 days. The judge accepted her as a credible witness.
Yep.
The one issue that the judge had to address is, would she have worked till 65? So again, that's future.
Being 60 at the date of trial, it makes it pretty easy to sort of extrapolate, Harry. I mean,
that
60 to 60.
Yeah, she probably would have worked. I think the judge says she probably would have, or she was going to reduce hours after 60. So he took that into account.
Every case, as we've said before, is decided on the facts. They look at this lady's work history from basically leaving school through to the time of the incident. They ask her what her intentions were for the future. They can call upon supporting evidence about that.
Martin, on that issue there was some conjecture about her income, because her tax returns aren't up to scratch.
Yep.
No.
So, but the judge accepted her as a person of truth.
As a credible witness.
So he accepted everything she said.
That sounds like a large amount when you say that there's a judgment for $618,000, but when you take into consideration, as Harry said before, this was a 1999 incident.
10 years.
10 years ago.
To resolve.
Yep.
Yeah. And she didn't work, so...
No. Look, the next case, again, is a case decided in Victoria. It was a motor vehicle accident case. It was a cyclist, Brian Broomhall, and the cyclist, I think, had a collision with another motorcyclist who was overtaking a truck, and the other cyclist died. The other cyclist, I think, was insured by a New South Wales insurer. So the matter, liability was admitted, and the matter went to trial on an assessment. And Mr. Broomhall was, I think, had a very nasty left leg injury.
Left lower leg.
Part of the toe was amputated.
And forefoot.
Part of the left forefoot was disfigured.
Significant...
the knee.
The gloving of the left knee.
So he had very, very nasty injuries, but credit to him, he was a salesperson and tried to go back to work.
Yes.
I think he had a pretty good work history, and he was committed to go back to work, and he getting in and out of the car just after, I think, between 6 and 12 months, he came to the conclusion that he just could not work in that capacity.
That's right.
he resigned and did a sensible thing and moved down to Phillip Island. And when he went to Phillip Island, he undertook a business of being a handyman. And I thought, to me, that sounded very sensible. And he was earning some money, but he'd lost a significant amount of his capacity to earn money as a result of his left leg injury. Now, the defendant lawyers said, we're not going to pay for his sea change lifestyle. Yep. They said, look, he's gone down, he's sort of bludging down at Phillip Island. We're not going to subsidise it and pay for it. What did the judge say, Tony?
Well, the judge basically said, look, he could carry on this handyman business, but when he deducted what the judge thought he could earn over the course of his life, he's only knocked off 20% from the figure that he would have got over the course of his life if he continued working. So in effect, he's given him 80% of his loss of income into the future. So he says, in effect, the judge is saying he's got a 20% retained capacity
to work.
To work.
So he's doing the best he can. He was working, but he wasn't earning much money as a handyman. No,
but he might have had periods where he was busy, and then he would have had really slow periods. I mean, if anyone knows Phillip Island, it gets pretty quiet in winter. I wouldn't think much happens down there in winter, but over summer, it's a lot of the island swells. It goes from about 7,000 or 8,000.
I think there's more to this case. It's a situation where we've got a 39, 40-year-old fellow. He's had 5 years of operations. He's had infections. He's lost part of his foot. Yeah. He goes down, he tries positively and proactively to rehabilitate. He goes down there. He can't be fit for what you would call open market employment because nobody's going to employ him. He had difficulty sleeping. He was in constant pain every day. One of the surgeons, I think, said he had a high threshold for pain and therefore he's doing the best he can with what he's got, right? So we've got a fellow that needs to be looked after, but he's doing the best he can.
Yep.
In those circumstances, he had a limited work capacity, and despite the fact, as you said before, it could be seen as a sea change, this is a person who's proactively trying to get on with their life.
And having said that, he only got $180,000 for general damages, which I thought was light.
The barrister put $200 for the plaintiff as an assessment of damages, and I think the defendants put $125, and the judge,
I think we've got a break,
rounded it up to $180,000 for general damages. I agree with Tony. It sounds a bit light to me, but the judge rounded up the figure and then awarded damages for
both headings,
for past loss and future loss, and didn't accept the defendant saying that you know, he was, to me, the defendant was saying he's a bludger.
Yeah, that wasn't accepted.
And it wasn't accepted by the judge, quite sensibly. That's all we've got time for, and we're going to a break, coming back with some questions.